Everybody meet Coach Mark Marquez. This video is going to be about business, mentorship, and what they do teach you at Stanford Engineering, where we as undergrads and emerging young adults, we're young. And there's a saying, it goes, is youth wasted on the young? What if youth were not wasted on us young people? What if youth was good in that we had energy and vibrancy, but also wisdom? Enter Coach Mark Marquez, who is the mentor and coach of David Esker. He's the current head baseball coach. What is awesome, even if you don't appreciate baseball or like it or pay any attention to it, is I see baseball as entrepreneurship. I see baseball as a game of failure judged by negative people in a misinformation environment. And yeah, thank you for thinking that that was genius, because it is. But it's not Larry Chiang telling you that. That's Tom House telling you that. That's me and Tom Brady's mentor, Tom House, paraphrasing, paste copying into Stanford Engineering, Engineering 245, Engineering 145, Computer Science 183, Chemical Engineering 297. Entrepreneurship, 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 entrepreneurship. Too much entrepreneurship on campus. Maybe not too much, but entrepreneurship is a game of failure judged by negative people in a misinformation environment. Skill set number one that we're going to glean directly from Coach Mark Marquez via Larry Chiang, via Mary Liz McCurdy, via Lisa Falzone. Stanford athlete, University of Illinois athlete. Me, Larry Chiang. Talking on the phone, calling a person repeatedly to sell them. That's Coach Mark Marquez with selling Stanford University over the phone. Being able to pick up the phone and call people that you don't know, largest business skill right now that is underutilized. It's difficult because, one, failure is a possibility and even a probability. So are you going to be able to gamify your own brain to feel successful when you're only winning 30% of the time? Can you feel good about making sales calls like Mary Liz, Jason Shen, and Larry Chiang did at the Stanford Daily, winning only 10% of the time? That's batting 100. 0.100. That's 100. 100 out of a possible 1,000. 1,000 is 100.0%. That's the inside baseball talk, because the sport is so ingrained and entrenched in failure that succeeding 30% of the time is called batting 300. So on the phone, you're missing all the shots that you don't take when you never get on the phone. And so when Coach called me 50 times begging me to come to Stanford, I didn't listen. And this transitions almost into mentorship, but a couple more points on telephone talking. How to close a deal over voicemail. That is literally telephone talking where the person's not even listening to you. It's an article I wrote. It's called How to Close a Deal Over Voicemail, which is also a goal of talking to a person on the phone, is you want to mentor them on 3 topics. Let me give an example. Hi, it's Larry Chiang from Duck9, and I was calling the CEO of your bank to see if you've got a person specifically on underwriting, risk mitigation, with 3 topics. 1, are you correctly underwriting cell phone numbers? 2, have you looked at email addresses and the age of email? 3, well, with 3, I'm going to wait for you to call me back. So let me give you my phone number again. It's 650-283-8008. Topic 1, cell phone number underwriting. Topic 2, email address underwriting as it relates to credit default and avoiding charge-offs. Sounds pretty cool, right? I'm going to need a call back. Or if you're talking to them live, hey, do these topics seem super interesting to you? Well, I'll tell you about those 3 and more when we meet in person. When can you fly to my office? Powerful, right? You're closing on the phone by doing mentorship marketing and mentorship selling. This is why we practice baseball. This is why we practice entrepreneurship, because the first time I taught Engineering 145, I actually just took it and learned from the front row. Taking math class before math class. This is the baseball skill of practicing grounders before a game has grounders. So you're taking reps. And when white and black people show up to math class, not having taken math class, I'm just licking my chops, because I'm going to beat you as if you've never shot a 3-pointer, and I'm in a full lather having shot and made over 200 3-point shots because I have perfect hip and shoulder timing. Hello? Winning. Mentorship. Since we're talking about basketball, let's start with Kobe Bryant being mentored by Mike Jordan, my friend. I'm in Nike Town in Chicago, and the Jordan 6 shoes come out. Purple and gold in Chicago. I was like, did somebody colorblind mess up the colors? My co-founder, Matt Smith, he's colorblind. Somebody mess up these colors, because these look like Laker colors. They're like, nope, that's how the shoe comes. Purple and gold. It took me almost 4 years from Jordan 6 shoe launch to determine and figure out that Michael Jordan was mentoring Kobe, even though during the All-Star game, Kobe's post-game interview. So in the same way that it's slow for you to learn about Bitcoin, AMC, Larry Chiang, GameStop, that's how slow I was in learning about the genius of Kobe Bryant. Oh, page 57, Austin Kleon. Good artists create, great artists steal. Page 57, Kobe Bryant. And do you see how mentorship and seeing me at parties, it kind of throws you a curveball, because you think there's no way this guy, with all his being a stud baseball player and so fun at parties and always with women, there's no way that he also reads more books on the planet than the planet reads. I mean, there's just no way. I wonder if there are 5 books that solve bankruptcy. Right back on topic with mentorship. Steve Blank, professor, Stanford Engineering. I met him by reading his book. Irv Grosbeck. Yeah, the reason I got into Stanford GSB for $2, I almost said free, was Irv Grosbeck. He sits section 6, row 4, seats D and E. Wait, row D, seats 4 and 5. That's Irv Grosbeck. Mentorship via a book. Mark McCormack. The book from 1983 is the book that I used to massively turn around a fledgling, flailing class that was encouraging all Stanford undergrads to be a billionaire. Engineering 145. What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School has 24 business protocols that are genius. And instead of calling them business recipes from 1983, I freshened all of them up by calling it guacamole. So text me a number between 1 and 24. Or actually, you know what? You're slow to phone call and you're slow to text. Let's just play a psychic game. Take a breath. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Now, think of a number between 1 and 24. I'll wait. Do you have that number? 23. Interesting. So 23, creepy how well I do that right. 23, guacamole, recipe number 23 is external API. Hashtag external API. This is actually the flagship guacamole recipe. By guacamole, I call it guacamole because everybody makes guacamole one similar way. You know, you chop your cilantro, your onions, your garlic, cilantro, and then perfectly ripe avocados, salt and pepper, right? Boring. You gotta roast garlic and then chill it and then puree it. And then you have a smoked flavor that the Four Seasons Miami uses as my recipe. Yeah. Ditto my friend at the Four Seasons Austin, who I'm blanking on his name. We have dogs. We share dog food recipes. So, guacamole, recipe number 23, external API. It's where you are an API from outside of the company. That's guacamole, recipe number 23. An example of it is Uber, where I did the Uber API almost 2 years prior to Uber doing their own API. Cool, right? So it's an API that's coming from outside. It's critical in entrepreneurship because you can use even a simple API to gain adoption for your technological innovation. Let's say the Uber API thing intimidates you because you're talking to Larry Chiang, the third institution of Silicon Valley. This is a simpler API. Pizza. So your company does event registrations, AI, ML, SQL. Syntactual is the new language that you're using. Whatever you're doing, you just add pizza. Hey, would you like some more information about the new programming language, Syntactual? It's like Ruby on Rails, but tied directly into money swaps. You know, Web 4 stuff. Yeah, it solves all the problems that Web 3 has because the settlement layer is Basel 3 USD. Cool, right? Syntax UL. Oh, and we also tie in guacamole recipes 1 through 24. Do you see how you're taking slices of pizza and just explaining 2 sentences? Because those 2 sentences are genius, but people aren't going to ask questions. Hey, this sounds like a PhD thesis in computer science. How does this help me? They're not going to ask that. They should ask that, in which case you're like, look, let me give you a slice of pizza for even asking that question. And now you know what I did with Duck 9, deep underground credit knowledge, which is also deep underground crypto knowledge, because Duck 9 started curiously at a similar time to Bitcoin. Yeah. In fact, we are all Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm hoping that you enjoyed meeting Coach Mark Marquez. Thank you, Coach. And I'm looking forward to the Mark Marquez Center for Students and Athletes in Palo Alto, Stanford, zip code 94305. It's open to athletes, it's open to students, it's open to student athletes. It's the Mark Marquez Center for Students and Athletes. The audio-visual room is the Tom Kosnick Star to the Stars, or whatever Tom Kosnick's. You know what? We'll do Tom Kosnick's room, calling it Lecture 19, Personal Business Plan. Oh my God. Crazy how well I quote book, chapter, and lecture. Lecture 19. Irv Grosbeck, by the way. Thank you, Irv Grosbeck, Business School. That's lecture 11, and that's chapter 17. Chapter 17. Chapter 17, which is new business ventures and the entrepreneur. Mentors, you honor me by ginning up Genius Shiitake.